for most people, which majority of people who go here are white, you can go into any room and you'll see 100 people who look just like you. That's not the case for me and for many other students.
I think it definitely does play a part in education and kind of just the way that people view you and everything. Like, even when I first came here, everyone was like, "Oh, are you like an athlete? Oh no, do you play music then?" And it was like, well, either one of those two, you know what I mean? And it's funny, like people, when I tell them I plan on going to law school and I plan on, you know, taking my education seriously, it's kind of frustrating to see the look in their eyes.
For people who don't know, there's like a deep-rooted like white supremacist like kind of history here. The school is a reflection of the state, and for like minority students to come here, it's just because like they look at the stats and they're like, I don't want to go here, and like that I can understand that. Like if you were from Oregon and you like saw that, I wouldn't want to go here either.
Moving here, where black people were essentially made illegal for the significant portion of the state's founding, is interesting. You're basically constantly kind of fighting this struggle where even if you know who you are, you're fighting the ignorance of people who just were raised ignorant.
I feel like there's some like seriously subdued racism that's kind of hidden in the background, and I've experienced it like kind of subtly and firsthand.
You can't escape that once black people were made illegal, and there were black people living here all during the time that they were illegal, that this is like a southern state in the Northwest, essentially, and with all the features of the South, including the Ku Klux Klan, which was run out of the University of Oregon.
I'm the only black person in my sorority, and then like DG right next door, I think there's like 2, and like so on and so on. It's like very small. We're definitely a reflection of the university, and the university is very white, and that's Greek life. That's just what it is.
The Greek life has a certain history that's been kind of whitewashed. And so because it's been whitewashed, the patterns of segregation have been replicated there, and therefore been long-standing.
I've definitely tried to talk to some of my friends who are not in sororities, and they just make jokes about like, oh, I wouldn't get a bid and like crazy stuff like that. And it's seems crazy, but those are people's thoughts. Like they really truly think that they wouldn't get into a sorority or fraternity because of their race. And that's real.
I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. I hear a lot of students who come out of Portland, who come out of some areas in Oregon, they want to go to an HBCU. They want that experience that they're not getting here in the state. And so how do we create somewhat of that experience here for them? So you welcome groups like the Black Greek Letter organizations on campus. You welcome the multicultural Greeks on campus.
When I rushed, so I know now there's black fraternities and sororities on campus, but when I first rushed, they haven't even colonized yet. So first off, I didn't even have that option, even if I wanted to consider it.
The current rule for fraternity and sorority life is that you have to have a certain number of members to be an active member or active organization on campus. And so the challenge therein is that when you're only 2% of the student population, sometimes it's hard to garner enough students.
And we came back in 2013 is when we actually chartered here. And I was the most recent, which is spring 2015. And I was the only person in our undergrad chapter to cross at the University of Oregon the last time.
I would think there was over 80 people in that room, maybe a little bit more. We had over 7 to 10 organizations that included the Black Greek Letter organizations and also multicultural groups. I think we've been working really great with the Portland chapters to bring, the Black Greek Letter organizations on campus. We had people traveling from Western Oregon University to come down to that interest meeting last session, and that was amazing.
Before there was some other Greek organizations that were older, but they weren't as active. And I think we're doing a lot better job of getting all the Greek organizations together and doing different programs and benefiting the community, and also just kind of expanding.
I mean, all the organizations were created at a time when the African American communities were looking to have some type of bonding community type things back when times were extremely hard. And so the foundation and the thoughts and the principles generally remain the same, but where it has originally came from and to where it is now, it's quite different.
One thing about the Black Greek letter organizations is that it's a great retention tool. Most of them persist to graduation. And so if you have that, then they're going to come back. They're going to be alumni.
I've been a member since 1994. I'm still paying my dues. I'm still doing community service. I'm still driving up from Portland with a whole bunch of children at home, but still making it happen and making that sacrifice. Why? Because it's important.
You're here for you, like you have people here that support you and love you and see you. I think that's very like strong.
People in the state are really, really hungry for something such diverse as this, and they really want an opportunity to be a part of something as amazing as this.
Overall, the atmosphere around U of O is definitely improving. There's been definitely some setbacks recently, but ultimately I think we are moving in a positive direction.
There's so much history when it comes to those organizations and who they've brought through and the things that they've done for Black communities, and not only Black communities, just communities overall.
Even if you're not involved in Greek life, I think seeing them here in the community and putting in work and doing things to better the Black and minority communities, I think it's a huge positive, and it's just beyond the morale boost. I think it's a really strong way to get more and more people involved and make them realize that they can make a change just by making an individual effort.
It's going to be a generational shift before we probably see a lot of things turning around. I think it's happening before our eyes. Quite frankly, I see it going in a positive place, but it's going to take some time. I'm positive that as we continue to do the things we're doing, we can turn the tide.